Do you think you could carry her?
I could, yes. Where do you want to carry her to?
Well, unfortunately, our new human companion ripped the heart out of her chest, and he'll look at the one over here and he says, "That's not much of a sacrifice, is it?"
Ah, all
He'll
right.
just kind of pointedly look at Aoife as well.
It was pretty cool, though.
I mean, the riddle said a heart, so I thought maybe, but...
Well, yes, but it's not much of a sacrifice if you just go get a heart and bring it to him.
I mean, it sounded pretty straightforward.
Just so you know, I don't really make it a habit of pulling hearts out of people's chests.
Why not?
This is... It was sort of a one-time thing. So you really don't have to be worried about me.
This kind of side eyes, Aoife.
Eva just kind of like raises her hands up in front of her, like, okay.
Yes, Balor did request that we bring him the goo of a gelatinous cube. And as you hear him say this, Narszelas, and you're examining the vial now in your hand, you have seen, well, you've not seen a gelatinous cube before, but you're aware of these things in the Underdark, and as you look at it, and you recall the information of what you know about this creature into your mind, you are fairly certain of yourself that this is in fact the goo of a gelatinous cube.
Well, that does seem to be exactly what this is. And I'll just kind of shake it vigorously back and forth to watch it jiggle back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, that's useful.
Probably just make some like slurping sounds.
Slurp, slurp.
Slurping?
Slurp, yeah.
Slurp.
And you wanted me to drink that?
I don't really think you'd be drinking it so much as chewing it, Taffy. And
He just
I'm
shudders.
pretty sure it would dissolve the inside of your mouth.
Shudders again.
Work very quickly as you kind of stir it around in there, trying to agitate it and break it apart a little bit.
Thing.
And
Let's just
you do
feed it.
manage to kind of scoop out like a little chunk of it into the other flask.
Like, excellent.
Which Ari will then quickly like put the cork on top of.
Right, Taffy, we gotta name it.
Oh man. Let's see. It's silver in color, right?
Hold on. Let's see. Let's find out. Actually, no, I don't want to. Wait, no, ignore that one. So looking at it, it's mostly a clear, translucent color, but in some of the thicker areas of the goo inside of this vial, you notice it kind of has like a reddish pink tint to it.
What if we named it Puddin'?
Narszelas just gives him a look and holds it out to him. Just like snatches it from Ari and holds it out to Taffy like, fine, then pudding is your responsibility, and you'll have to remember to feed it.
Oh.
God.
He just awkwardly takes it, you know. It's like, what have I done?
Mouse, a pet spider, and now a pet Jello.
The consequences of his actions. Okay. So Taffy, he's staring at the door, and then he's staring at the door, and then he tilts his head to the side, and then he speaks up. Hey, does anyone else see that? There's like a pattern on the door. It looks like it's fairly, yeah, I don't know, been used a couple dozen times. Been put on this door.
Can Narszelas see it?
Give me a perception check.
Oh boy.
He's like tracing it out in the air with his
I am
paw.
gonna use my anima shard.
Oh,
okay.
baby. Not today, ones.
12. So you look at the door, and you do see, what Taffy is pointing out, that there is, a symbol that's been drawn multiple times in blood upon the door. But looking at it, you can't really tell what the symbol is. It's not ringing any bells to you.
Would I be able to copy it using like my artistic skills?
Yeah, probably shouldn't be too hard.
Okay. Looking at the door, kind of how everybody's standing close to it. It's not open. Michelle's gonna turn to Taffy, and he's gonna look at him real weird. And he's gonna say, "Taffy,
Yeah.
Taffy, I need a favor."
Oh, okay. It's not. I don't have to drink something, right?
No,
Okay.
Taffy, I need you to bleach.
To what now? Could you run that by me one more time?
I need you to bleed.
To bleed?
Yes.
He's noticeably nervous. Okay, like just a little bit?
Yes.
He seems incredibly nervous. He looks around and he's like, okay,
I mean, I could ask Yavari to do it if they're into that sort of thing.
Normally I'd say yeah, but this is a little too suspicious for me, you feel?
Suspicious?
This is a little suspicious.
And what exactly am I going to be doing that's suspicious?
The door being suspicious, not you being suspicious.
Taffy, can I please just cut you open? Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit.
And so he inhales. He's like, okay. And he closes his eyes and he just kind of holds out his paw, just kind of in front of you as he's just waiting.
And, Narszelas will turn towards Yavari and say, "Can I borrow your knife?"
Sure. She hands him her dagger.
And while he holds it to Taffy's paw, he's gonna say, "No, I would have used my own, but like Resh said, he likes the suffering of outsiders." And then he'll just make a very quick slit across his palm.
You hear Taffy, like, you hear him. Yeah, he winces, and you just hear this, like this little cat squeak.
Poor Taffy.
And he'll kind of bring Taffy over to the door.
Okay. He does open his eyes to make sure he doesn't stumble face plant into the floor.
And almost purposefully, he'll say sorry, and then he'll press the open wound into the door to make sure it hurts.
You see him cringe pretty hard. He's like, he's trying his best to not say or make it too much noise. And
Narszelas will start using the blood to trace how the symbol looks. He doesn't know what it is, but he's recreating it, and he's making, you'll hear another just little, sorry, and then he'll press really hard once he gets to the end of the symbol, against the door, trying to cause Taffy more discomfort.
you hear him murph and squeak and, make pained, cat noises that he's trying to, keep muffled. It's, failing rapidly the more this is going on.
Alright. Taffy, you will take 6 points of damage from that.
I'm glad I used that hit die.
Alright. And as you copy the symbol, Narszelas, running Taffy's bleeding paw over it to retrace it, you notice as you kind of press it in for that final touch, you see that runes that you hadn't noticed before carved along the outside of the door begin to glow very faintly with like this blue energy. And as the other doors before, this one will finally rumble and groan as it pushes itself down into the floor to allow you all passage into the final room of the temple.
Not gonna lie, didn't think that was gonna work.
Oh,
Like, out of character,
Wow.
didn't think that was gonna work.
That would have
Yeah.
been funny. I would have laughed. All of that for nothing.
We'll release Taffy and kind of give him an apologetic look, and he'll say, "Sorry, it's just a thing."
No, he's like, he's like taking his hand and he's just nursing it with his other hand and kind of holding it under his his armpit to like keep pressure on it, and he's just like, no, the door's open, so it worked.
Yeah.
And so as this door opens into the next room, for those of you without dark vision, which I think is Arca and Aoife, the room for you is pitch black. And you really cannot see anything, especially given that there is very little light in the room you are in already. As for the rest of you, as the door opens, you see that other than the darkness of the room, the only light, and it's barely noticeable, are circles of runes that are carved around the bases of 4 giant statues looming in every corner of the room that appear to be made out of onyx. Their appendages are long and thin, tipped with claws long and sharp enough to rip someone to shreds in a single swipe. These statues are carved into the shapes of terrifying creatures with wings that spread wide from their backs.
Oh.
Their faces are contorted in all manner of expression, with their maws open, revealing glows of gleaming, sharp teeth. It's almost as if they're watching you all standing there in the doorway, but nothing moves.
And
As
Narszelas is going to back up and just say, "You know what? I don't want to go in. I'm fine if we don't go inside."
Taffy leans around the side of the door there so you can get a better look in there, and he's looking at these statues like, what the heck are those?
I don't know, but I'm okay if we don't find out. Actually, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'll say, Taffy, make a quick perception check for me, and then go ahead,
Oh, baby.
Aoife.
Aoife's just. I'm just gonna ask. What is it? What are you guys seeing in there?
Why don't you go find out?
I can't. I'm not just going to walk into a completely pitch black room.
Oh, but you're down here. You said you could handle anything that Drow do.
I didn't say I could handle anything. I just said I could take care of myself.
It's just a dark little room. It's just a little dark room. Why don't you go inside?
At this point, I feel like Ivar is gonna pull out a torch and just kind of light it and give it to Aoife.
We already learned this lesson.
But we could learn it again.
Hold on. So Taffy, you as you peer into the room, trying to get a better look at what's inside, other than the 4 giant statues, you see that behind one of the ones in one of the farther corners, you do see that there is an old wooden trunk that's kind of wedged between the statue and the back wall. Yavari, Do you light a torch?
Oh.
That was the whole joke.
I do not.
Suffer.
Okay.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
This is hard.
So Taffy.
Oh, and
Oh.
I'm sorry. One other thing, Taffy. As you do see, there is also a door at the far right of the room that you assume probably leads back into the large main room that you guys had gone in before.
Okay. So Taffy stares into the room, and he's like, "Wait! I think I see something in the back. Yeah. I think there's a trunk back there." And then he stops for a second, and he kind of like turns. He's like he's using one of his paws to kind of like he's mentally mapping where the dungeon is out in his head as he like turns to the right and kind of like looks along the wall, and then back into the other room. And he looks back, and he's like, "And I think there's a door that leads back into the sacrificial chamber." That big altar room.
You know what? We could also just walk the other way and go back in the main entrance. He's going to pause in the doorway and
Bless
just turn on his heel very slowly to look behind him. Just directly behind him. And stare at the Gloomstalker in the room.
Rush has just been standing quietly, observing the group. And as you turn to look at him, Narszelas, you see he's standing his usual posture, very straight-backed, hands behind his back. And he has a very faint smile on his lips.
Narszelas just
suffer.
puts both of his hands on his hips and lifts his mask up after a moment and just says, "Fala Zatost, you go do it."
And Rush looks at Narszelas, still looking incredibly amused, and just responds to him in Drow. All you had to do was ask. And before you really have a chance to respond, Resh seems to almost melt and vanish into the shadows.
Oh my god.
Narszelas just says, I hate that guy.
Taffy's like, "I keep forgetting he can do that."
Yeah.
Ari will just say, oh, well, go ahead.
No, what is Ari gonna say?
Well, Ari's just gonna say, do you really hate him? I mean, if he knew what was happening, that was a little rude to not.
He absolutely knew. But Narszelas, at the same time, is going to cast darkness. About in the center of the room.
Okay. Let me
A little bit further, about like right here. 40 feet in.
Right there? Okay. I've retrieved your items.
Oh, God! Can you announce yourself before you do that?
No.
No.
The first item he gives you are a pair of boots. They're made of black leather with faint designs on the sides of them, kind of, how do you describe it with leather? Like kind of carved into the leather, I guess, or
yeah,
something like that. Designs that appear a mixture of like elvish yet drowic as well, with sharp angles and points all within the design. He also gives you oh god, hold on one second. He also hands you what appears to be at first you think it's just a stick that he's handing out to you, or just this very small, short cylinder made out of wood, made of a very like dark wood material. And as you kind of get a closer look at it, you see there's actually faint spider web carvings that kind of run all the way up and down this item that he's given over to you. You're not even sure what to call it exactly. And the final one, I am waiting for Bela to help me out with here.
I'm getting it. You're gonna have to give me a second. I gotta find the perfect thing.
You're okay.
Thing?
Oh
boy.
I hope you love it.
Oh boy, I'm a little afraid.
I'm a little afraid.
Oh no.
I'm scared.
You see the last thing he gives you?
You're welcome, Taffy.
Oh boy.
The last thing he gives you.
Uh-huh. Yeah?
Is an umbrella. But not
Perfect.
not just like a regular umbrella. This umbrella is fairly small. Like if you fanned it out, it's maybe only about 3 to 4 feet in diameter. And rather than being attached onto a pole or a cane of some kind to hold on to it, it's instead attached to a sort of headband.
What?
As if it's perhaps meant to be worn on top of your head.
This isn't top.
So, he's like looking over the boots. He's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." He looks at the cylinder. He's like, "Oh, that's even cooler." And then he looks at this umbrella, and he cocks his head to the side. And he just kind of grabs it. And he's looking it over. He's like, and he looks up at Resh. Are you this isn't a joke, right? This isn't a prank.
Narszelas just whispers, "It doesn't even rain here."
Resh will say, I can come and bring you the entire chest if you'd prefer, but that is all the items that were inside of it.
And he very slowly, just in case anyone wants to interrupt him, he's gonna very slowly put it on his head. He's not gonna have it open. He's just gonna put it on his head.
And you do. And now you are tabaxi with an umbrella hat on top.
He's sitting there.
Do anything?
He's waiting for something to happen.
Well, not putting it on. I mean, you never know if it does something else. But just putting it on, Taffy. It doesn't do anything. But you kind of get like this weird tingly feeling on the top of your head.
It's like, huh?
Maybe it needs to rain.
I was kind of hoping.
Maybe.
No, I feel like this is a joke. Like, who makes something like this?
You can never be too prepared for the rain.
Well, Vhaeraun and Narszelas, can't one of you detect maybe what sort of magic is in it or what it might do?
Oh, I was really hoping to just let him find out, but sure, man.
Fair.
Vhaeraun, why don't you give it
I don't want to see what it does.
Me too, man.
I love how Taffy's just the let's see what it does. Give it to Taffy.
Actually, Taffy.
Yeah.
Can you step back a couple feet?
Sure. So he'll just walk into the middle of the room over here.
A little further.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'm so scared.
Tell me when to stop.
Right there.
Okay. Oh boy.
How much health does Taffy have right now?
Enough. He has enough. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh
And
no.
Narszelas is gonna kind of put his hands together and he'll start like winding them around, and you kind of see him like mutter something under his breath, and this sort of like wet surface starts to appear, like this wet orb between his hands, and he's going to cast this.
Oh,
Listen,
boy.
we are detect magic old school style.
So how does the water form?
A wall.
A wall.
Okay,
So
like on top of Taffy?
No, it's gonna start about right here. He wants it to be more like a wave. To just go that way.
who's 10 foot tall? Oh my gosh.
Okay, Taffy, please make a strength save.
Wee! So you see, he sees like, whoa, wait, what? And then he just gets swept under this thing. You know, I'm just gonna fail my strength save.
Okay. You're gonna take 7 bludgeoning damage, and as you watch as Narszelas channels his anima, and you just see water beginning to condense and form on the ground, and slowly it rises and rises and rises into this 15-foot wide, 10-foot tall wave of water that just slams into you, Taffy. And as it does so, you feel your feet go out from under you despite trying your best to stand up against the waves, and you're knocked back about back here with the water.
And Narszelas is going to use his bonus action with this, that he can teleport. And he's just gonna show up about right here and just kind of bend over Taffy.
Who's now like just soaking wet. He's just like, he's coughing a little bit, coughing up some water. And he's a little delirious. He's like, did anything happen?
Yeah, you should keep wearing it, actually. That was amazing.
Come the blade, come the hour, come the blood, come the power. Those who cower within the darkness of the Spider Queen's web must give up that which fills their veins with devotion, fear, and dread.
And as he holds Yvari's dagger over this woman's body, he pauses, because there's a twinge of fear, because this is a female drow. And yeah?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say, Resh will kind of notice his hesitation, and he will say, if it makes you feel better, and as far as I know, Vhaeraun probably would much enjoy it being a woman rather than a man.
Well, yeah, I'm the god of drow, after all. Right. Right. And he holds it up again. And like he's got it positioned over her chest, like over the breast where the heart would be. And just kind of looks at Resh out of the corner of his eyes and will just whisper, hoping nobody else can hear, just help me.
Resh will kind of lean forward, and he'll say, I can help guide your hand, if that would help.
Considering what's in it, yeah, that would help.
Very well. And as you hold the dagger there above her, he will rest one hand over yours. and help to guide you. Repositions where you were a little bit, and he says, I'm assuming then you know what must be done, otherwise I can just walk you through it as we go.
Yeah, that would help. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've never sacrificed anyone before.
I can tell. So, what you're going to do first is we are going to have to carve her heart out.
Okay.
He kind of pauses there for a moment, and you might notice like the lines on his face kind of grow a little softer. So he just says, I would do this, Narszelas, but I'm not sure Vhaeraun would accept it from me.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I just killed someone. This is not that big of a deal. Lower your voice. I don't want them here.
Sorry.
You're doing great.
Resh will lower his voice. It's just I can't
I know,
talk
I
very
know.
quietly
Yeah.
with this one. But yeah. And he'll say, so we're going to cut through her first, and it will be a little difficult now that her body is a little cold, so it will require some force.
Okay.
And he will take your hand. Well, he'll take your hands holding the dagger, and he will help you as he begins to press it down into her chest. And for you, Narszelas, it's, the crack of your whip was one thing. That was quick, smooth. Really you felt no resistance with a weapon like that, using it on the drow before. But now using such a small weapon, just a dagger now, having to press it into someone like this, you can feel, especially with the body being a little cold now that it's had time to cool off, you do feel a little resistance as you push the blade into her. It's an odd feeling, but Resh will not really give you a lot of time to stop and think about it, as he will continue to guide your hand to kind of cut open a rather large portion of her chest.
His shoulders are kind of lifting and heaving at this point, like he's uncomfortable. And Rush might feel like the hand that he's holding and guiding through this is kind of shaking a bit.
Which will just make him hold on a little tighter.
Oh.
And
okay, so how do I do? Do I just take it out? Do I just cut it out?
And he says, as he helps you lift the blade away, now her having this new deep cut now on her chest, he'll say, now you must.
What about the rib cage?
Hmm?
He said, oh, what about her rib cage?
Oh God, how does fucking anatomy work, man?
Would you like me to describe it?
Yeah,
it's okay. Unfortunately, her heart is not just right there under the skin.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And he will kind of turn back after a minute, and he's gonna just go, Yavari, Aoife. What would you say? I'm mainly asking the person who just tore someone's heart out of their chest. How would you go about cutting open a ribcage.
Go for the middle.
Oh,
Like, straight down.
Yeah, you I would. You can go between the ribs or right through the center where it's the weakest, and then
I just
sort
want it
of
done.
like-
I just want it done. I just want it done. And he just like tosses the knife and just reaches in with his hands and
God.
grabs one of the ribs and just pulls.
Ah,
Also
Nice.
works, I guess.
That is the most efficient way. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a heart. What do you do with it? It's
He's trying to ignore the smell.
yeah.
And he's just like he raises his eyes up to Resh in a very like we have to talk about this later sort of
Hmm.
not in a good way, and just moves over to the door and sets it in whatever little ceremonial crevice happens to be there.
And yeah, you walk up to the door, and you'll notice that on the one side of it, there's already a couple of old jars filled with what you thought at first was maybe blood of some sort, but getting a better look at it, you can see now there is something much more whole within them. And now holding a heart here in your hands, you can only assume that they were other hearts from other sacrifices in the past.
Well, not having a jar,
So-
he's just gonna dump it on the altar right there.
There
Yeah,
you go.
so you place it down on the other side of the altar. And as you do so, let me see. Hold on. I had a note about this somewhere. Oh boy. So as you place it down upon the altar, you see that the door now that leads into what you assume is likely the altar room of Vhaeraun. You see glyphs all along the outer edges of it begin to glow rather bright blue color. And this door, like the rest, rumbles and grinds and moves as it slides downward. And at first, all you can see within the room, or within the room beyond, is this impenetrable darkness, swirling in shades of onyx, shadow, and pitch. And oddly enough, you also see, as the door slides down enough, you see your own reflection. Almost as if you're staring into some sort of black mirror. And... oh god, I'm losing it. You and Arca, I will need wisdom saving throws.
Goodbye, guys.
Oh dear.
And,
Great to know you guys.
and Resh and Ari will as well.
Oh,
Wisdom is my worst stat.
it works for me too.
What about Taffy? Is he?
Oh my god.
Thankfully, Taffy,
Oh.
you are far enough away.
Ah, okay.
oh,
Oh, Arca. Also,
Got it.
Resh.
Yeah, Resh ain't doing too fucking hot. So, Arca, I'll start
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
What would you say is Arca's greatest fear?
Oh
God.
boy. Hmm.
Probably either his family or his people getting hurt.
All right. So good, thank you. So I'll start first real quick with Narszelas. as the door opens and you see your reflection staring back at you, after a moment, as you lock eyes with yourself, you see your reflection shift and lurch forward very suddenly, as if it's about to lunge for you. However, as soon as it does so, it vanishes. And all you're left with is the dark opening of the room. As for you, Arca, though you're at the bottom of the stairs, you can still see the doorway as it opens fully. And from down here, you can see that beyond it seems to be nothing but black. And oddly enough, you almost at first think you can see feathers or something of the sort, lurching out of it. And all of a sudden, you see at the top of the stairs, this figure appears. Actually, hold on one second. You see a man standing there, having walked out of the doorway, seemingly right past Narszelas. It's the head of a man. It's a humanoid figure with blue skin, but he has a beak over where his mouth would be, and two beautiful wings kind of cascade from his back, made of feathers of every color imaginable, and you recognize this as Garuda. As having lived in the karst for as long as you have, though you've never met, well, you would have met Garuda briefly when you were younger. So you do recognize the god of your people.
It's like, hi, God.
As he stands there, you see he holds up one of his hands in front of him. And all you see is that he is holding a head.
Oh.
A decapitated head.
Oh my god.
Oh
Gee.
no.
An Aarakocra's head.
This is escalating.
I can't.
Your younger sister.
God.
And how does Arca react to this?
Oh man. Oh wow. I think it'd be a mix of like reverence because it is Garuda, but also horror because he is holding his sister's head. So Arca falls to his knees, and it's kind of like an attempt at respect, but he fixes his gaze on the decapitated head, and there's this low, fearful whisper from it. Why?
And as soon as as that word leaves your lips, the vision vanishes, but you feel all of a sudden this sharp pain in your head that almost makes you double over.
God.
As
boy.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh my
Damn.
As you take 26 points of psychic damage.
Wow. That's big damage.
And you all eventually just make your way through.
god.
And at first, for all of you, as you walk through the doorway, your vision is plunged into complete darkness. somehow even darker than if you had your eyes closed. And all of you can hear, as you pass through the doorway, can hear a deep, throaty chuckle kind of echoing in your ears. One party member, Narszelas, recognizing
He's
this
laughing
noise.
at me again.
No. Well, now he's laughing at all of us.
And as and as the final person of the party, whoever that may be, makes their way through the doorway, for all of you, the blackness then begins to clear, almost like a smoke cloud. And you instinctively raise your hand and start to wave it away from your face and your nose to help clear your vision. And before you now unfolds a completely new scene. A scene of dark sentinel trees with bark almost purple in color, with a half moon cleaved into the sky so large that it looks twice as big as the very ground you stand on now. The forest is one of perpetual night, with shining moonstones all around the trees that glimmer and shine with the strength of the moon's light. The grass around you is dark, almost blue in color, and hard to see through the darkness that peels around the roots of these great and ancient trees. You see before you, there are 2 paths you can go down that cuts through the trees, each one looking darker and blacker than the last. And so you go inside, and as you go, it seems like a fairly standard cave. The walls are made of stone, the bottom made of a mixture of stone, gravel, and dirt. Rather rough and not really all that smooth. Perhaps not a very common place people or things have ever traversed, if anything even lives here, wherever here is. And as you all go further and further in...
Oh, nothing. Sorry, I thought it was muted.
Oh, you're fine. And you all go further and further inside. And you eventually, the tunnel you've traveled through opens up into a larger cavern. And you see at first the light of the moonstone that you hold, Arca, seems to almost glow brighter to illuminate the entire cavern for you all. And you see at first someone here with you. About probably in the middle of the cavern or so is a man, appearing to be sitting down upon a rather large, smooth rock. From what you can tell at a glance, he looks like a normal drow, with dark skin and white hair with streaks of red running through it. He wears leather armor that seems to be mostly black and purple, and you see there's a mask of the same colors covering most of his upper face, leaving only his mouth visible. Currently...
He said, "Oh, fantastic."
Oh, fantastic.
He's leaned over from how he's sitting, with one hand on one of his knees and the other seeming to be holding his shoulder. And as you all walk in, you see him lift his head, and you see even from here, you can see his eyes as they almost seem to glow in the dark. At first, they appear green for a brief moment before turning to this deep shade of blue.
Well, what a persistent bunch you are.
Oh.
Hello, God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Literally.
And you all might... Well, actually...
Everyone but you.
Taffy just freaks out and
I think everyone but... Yeah, everyone but Yvari and Resh, you all
People
will
keep
actually
talking about this guy, and I don't know if y'all are just like crazy. Like I'm not hearing anything.
no, you all will recognize that this appears to be the same masked drow you all had caught a glimpse of in the amphitheater.
Oh god.
Narszelas
Oh,
is just
no.
gonna say it. He's just gonna say it out loud. He's just gonna go, Vhaeraun?
You would be correct.
God.
This bitch, this child, literally just drops to one knee.
And you see Resh will do much of the same thing, looking fairly shocked at the moment. As he bows his head and he'll say, apologies. Shoot, Bela, real quick, how would they address him? Would it just be Vhaeraun, or?
Hold on. There's the Masked Lord. There'd be Lord Vhaeraun.
Okay, Lord Vhaeraun sounds okay. And you'll just hear Resh say, apologies, Lord Vhaeraun, if we have intruded upon you this evening. And Narszelas, it's at this moment you'll notice that the silence has perhaps felt so eerie for you because you haven't heard anything inside of your head either.
Oh.
As you see now, kneeling down, seeing your crystal in view, you see that the usual purple glow that surrounds it is dormant.
He just kind of lifts it up after a minute, and he's turning his hand left and right, just kind of looking at it with like this bewildered look, and he's like, oh, that's what's, like, thinking to himself, like, oh, that's what's been so fucking weird. It's quiet. And he'll just like swing his head upward and kind of catch another glimpse at this drow, and he'll just be like, it wasn't our intention to drop in on you. He'll kind of look back at everyone else with like this God fucking help me look.
And Taffy, you as well.
Oh no.
Can hear a sort of like faint rattling noise coming from your bag. And if you happen to kind of take a peek inside the pouch it's coming from,
Oh yeah,
you'll notice that it's the anima crystals you've been carrying around with you. Seem to have also lost their usual glow and now fall quiet and still.
Oh. The Taffy slams himself against one of the walls. He's just like trying to make himself as small a target as possible. And he notices the anima's just left, and he's like, oh, this isn't good. This is not okay.
He's like, God, forgive us for bringing outsiders here. Is this your realm?
Oh.
Sorry, I have to find the name of it. I had it here somewhere. There it is. Sorry.
No, you good.
Yes, this is Elania, my realm.
Right. Okay. And he'll just like very shakily look back toward like Yavari and Renarian and Aoife, and he's just kind of like, okay, Renarian's fine, but oh god, you guys might die. Oh god. he's like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what to do here.
You're in danger.
We came looking for, oh, and he sighs and he's like, I'm about to become the biggest dumbass this side of the Underdark. And he just says, we came here looking for a giant bat. Not here specifically, we came here on accident. We were in the temple and then you laughed at me and,
Twice.
It's a very nice temple, by the way.
It has sadly fallen into disrepair, but I assume the bat you speak of to be the Chiroptera.
Yeah, the chiropractor.
It is a fool's mission. They went extinct over a century ago.
Oh. I just kind of look back at Ivari and Taffy and I was like, what are we supposed to do? We can't repair the barrier without the chiroptery. We can't go back to Valgard unless we fix the barrier.
And at the mention of a barrier, and
God
especially of Valgard, you'll see Vhaeraun seems to almost kind of straighten his posture and give you an odd look. And he'll ask you,
What is this barrier you speak of?
The barrier in Mithranve. The theater was putting on a show. You were there. The whole thing collapsed and the barrier above the above the theater's broken.
and you see for a brief moment the eyes behind his mask flash to a bright red, and even the red in his hair seems to soak more into the white. After a moment, the red recedes back to his white, and his eyes sort of fall back to a green color that you saw them at first. And he'll look at you for a very long moment, Narszelas, before he'll say,
Come here.
Oh no!
I don't wanna! He just kind of looks at Resh, like, okay.
what did he say? I'm sorry.
He didn't say anything, he's just looking at Resh like, I'm about to get smote.
And Resh just kind of gives a small, like, nod towards Vhaeraun while looking at Narszelas, like trying to silently tell him, like, just go on.
I mean, yeah, you're either gonna get smote there or here, I guess.
Yeah.
So I haven't rolled my second character sheet, guys, but I look forward to it.
But don't worry, I'm right there with you. I got a backup
Yeah.
character ready to go.
We're dying.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Right, Narszelas,
Third
like,
time's the charm.
he stands and he looks very small in that he's making himself look small. Like, his shoulders are kind of pulled inward, and he takes a few small steps forward before continuing on and just like, glancing back at his group and then looking at God.
Looking at God.
He's like, yes.
And he'll look at you for a long moment, and as you stand before him now, he, after a brief moment, gets up onto his feet. And you'll see now that he's not kind of hunched over himself. He stands probably about as tall as Runarian, at well over 6 feet. Along with the colors of his armor, you see that it's broken apart by splatters of silver blood. And he walks up to you, walking rather slowly, though you can't tell whether with purpose or perhaps from some sort of wound that this blood came from. And after a long moment, he'll say,
You have quite the nerve to bring so many outsiders into one of my temples. Oh, I understand why.
and his eyes will then kind of look down to the crystal in your hand.
Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna fucking die.
And he'll say,
Though, even worse, you have brought Lolth's influence with you.
Oh. I didn't do it by choice. And I mean, like, this boy is shaking. He's holding his hands together and his shoulders are like physically jumping and his voice is shaking and he's like, I didn't bring her here because I wanted to. I didn't want to disrespect you. I didn't want her in me.
Yet you also have a Lolthite devotee within your party.
and his eyes focus on Resh.
Oh, it's not like that. He is my older brother.
What difference does it make?
It makes all the difference. Lolth would have killed me if it weren't for my brother.
And that catches his attention as you see the red in his hair in a blink seems to turn to green as his head tilts slightly to one side. And he'll look back to Resh and then back at you, and he'll say,
Caring for even family members is not something my mother teaches.
I know it's a vulnerability that you're not supposed to have, and caring about other people is how you get a knife in between your shoulders, but I don't care. The teachings of the Spider Queen are the reason that my other brother is dead, and her teachings would have me kill Resh too, and I won't do that.
and at that, he'll look back to Resh without looking at you again. He will very suddenly reach for something at his side.
Goodbye.
And
Goodbye, thank you forever.
Bye.
before you realize what's going on, you just feel cold steel pressed against your neck.
Oh,
As the rest of the party, you will now see that Vhaeraun holds a dagger at Narszelas' neck. And the entire moment, he's fixated on Resh, who is looking back to Vhaeraun with a rather intense stare with his crimson gaze. And Vhaeraun will say,
You really care for your Thastral brother.
and Resh seems to hesitate for a very brief second and bows his head as he says, even if the rest of Lolthite society deems me weak, my answer is yes.
Narszelas has his eyes very tightly closed.
Oh.
And Vhaeraun continues to hold the dagger there as he'll then turn his gaze over to Arca. And he'll say,
Why is it you travel with my kin, Erakoka?
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Shoot.
Because he's a friend, because he's sacrificed much for our sake.
and he just seems to give a small hum for a moment before he'll turn his gaze to Yavari.
And you, Tiefling?
Narszelas has done more for the people than most would do with their little finger. Or there's there's another way to say that. I can't say it right now. It is almost 4 a.m.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I tried to say it cool, but I'm not.
You're good. You're fantastic.
Thank you.
And then he looks from Yavari to Aoife.
And what of you, human? We have done countless tragedies to your people, and yet here you stand.
Uh-oh.
We. Oh, I'm here. I'm here. I'm thinking. Oh
No,
god.
you're fine. You're okay.
And we have also done countless tragedies to your. If my presence can help balance the scales, then I'll do what I can.
And then he will look
No.
from Aoife to Taffy.
This poor cat's trying to fuse with the rock right now.
He really is. But no, Vhaeraun just looks you down. He'll say,
That's a totally different voice.
"Oh shit! Oh,
He
it's
is
somehow
not happy
the
with
other one."
Taffy.
That's terrifying.
I don't know what Taffy did, but shit.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, then he will say,
And you, Tabaxi.
That's so completely different.
"Oh, I'm so
I think that's
sorry."
what
That's why we
Vhaeraun-
understood.
Just
we
pretend.
understood
Just
what he
pretend.
said.
Just
We
pretend. It's fine.
understood. It's via me.
Oh, jeez. Taffy, he squeaks, clears his throat. And he just blurts out, because you help people who need help. That's what you do when people need help. And he sounds really silly. Talking in circles right now, but he's like, we were better than we are yesterday. That's, sometimes people just need help.
This baby.
Yes, baby.
And that's about the only sentence he can spurt out.
I'm so confused. Okay,
Sorry, I just
Enough.
sent Starion the word daddy.
Yeah.
Mask Daddy's about the.
Yeah. Daddy's mad.
Daddy's mad.
Oh.
And then he'll look from Taffy to Ari. And he'll say,
Uh-oh.
And what of you, Wood Elf?
then Ari is very clearly just as nervous as anyone else. But he will say, well, as others have said, Narszelas has done many things for us, and much more than I'd expect anyone to do for even their closest friends or family. And, you know, he's become one of my closest friends. And I wouldn't abandon him.
Oh.
And Vhaeraun at that, having heard from everyone in the party, lowers the dagger away from Narszelas' neck, tucks it back away into his armor.
He hasn't been breathing for like a minute and a half, and you just hear this like,
This poor boy. And Vhaeraun will look back down at you, Narszelas. His green eyes still very intense from behind his mask. And you see both of his hands reach up to what appears to be a cloak that he's wearing.
oh, he's gonna slap the shit out of me with it. I can feel it.
Oh my god. But he reaches up to unclasp it from around his shoulders, and he will hold it in both of his hands and then holds it out to you, as he will say,
This cloak is made out of chiroptera fibers. This should be more than enough for Balor to repair the barrier.
Thank you. He just kind of take it between his fingers very awkwardly for a moment. He's like, I didn't mean what I said. I did not accept whatever this supposed blessing from Lolth is willingly.
That much I understand.
He's getting more and more demonic.
He's just getting angrier and angrier.
I'm trying. I was trying to fix it.
No, you
It was
good.
too high.
No, this is perfect. This is hilarious.
This is so deep.
No.
He's trying to appeal to humans from the beginning, and now he's just like, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, for real.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. No, it's okay.
Fine.
You're fine.
Seriously.
Okay. So, with that handed over to you, you'll see that, Vhaeraun almost kind of leans over a little towards you, Narszelas, almost as if trying to stare into your very soul with his rather intent gaze. And he will say,
If you are not a child of Lolth, then perhaps you and I can work together on something.
Ooh.
Warlock?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
what?
He's so stupid.
Oh no.
Just
No, don't take me to jail.
I'm assuming you don't mean like collaborating on a potion.
You see his eyes flicker briefly to blue before returning back to their very...
Hey, guys, I made the therapist laugh.
I'm gonna get an A.
Before returning to their very sharp green, as he will say,
Considering the rather unique situation you are in, I believe that I could help you if you, in return, will help me.
Okay. How exactly are we helping each other?
and at this point, for the rest of you, you do not hear this conversation.
Oh.
As for Narszelas, you may not notice it right away, but your party members all seem to have been frozen in place. As if time has kind of stopped, other than for you and Vhaeraun.
This is fantastic. Now when he kills me, they won't know. Yeah.
You just poof, disappear. It's like, oh.
And Vhaeraun will say,
I have been attempting to discover what my mother has been up to recently, but...
And he kind of gestures at the silver blood that's splattered across most of his torso.
I suffered heavy wounds in the demon web pit where she resides. But you could keep a far closer eye on her than I could ever hope to do.
You want me to spy on the Spider Queen?
I more so want you to allow me to listen in while pretending as if you are accepting of what she wants.
Fantastic. And, there's just one problem. If, I accept what she wants, this thing, he's going to look down at the crystal in his hand. It's already up to my shoulder. Eventually, it's going to climb all over me and get inside of me, and then I'm going to be half drow, half rock.
And at that, he kind of, holds out one arm and kind of gestures to the space around you as he says,
My magic is able to keep her at bay. Should you accept my offer, I can at least hold her back as much as I am able to.
And at this point, he kind of looks over and he realizes that no one's moving and hasn't moved and no one's breathing. And he's just kind of like, oh, God.
Oh, God.
and not that I am snubbing your offer or disrespecting you. I'm simply asking, what if I don't accept your offer?
And you see his eyes have once more shifted to blue, as he'll say,
If you do not, I cannot guarantee all of your friends will make it out of here in one piece.
Oh.
That's charming. Anyway, y'all the boss. Hi, what's up?
I don't have much of a choice than to accept your offer. And he'll just kind of look toward the group again. And just say under his breath, like, the shit I do. All of
Oh.
So, what do I have to do? I mean, is there like some kind of a ritualistic dance? Do I have to like, I don't know, cut off a spider's leg and wave it around at the moon?
And you'll see for a brief moment his eyes flicker to near red, though eventually settle upon a shade of brilliant gold. And he'll just say,
First, I would have you hold out your weapon.
Okay. I'm going to reach over onto his side and pull out the whip that he's been using.
and at the same time, Vhaeraun will withdraw the dagger that he had earlier held to your neck. And he will say,
Our pact is one that is to be made in blood.
Okay.
Hold out your other hand.
The one with the crystal in it?
Yes.
Okay. We'll just slowly, hesitantly, glancing back at the party, wondering if it's worth it, hold out his other hand.
and Vhaeraun will move it somewhat to ensure that your hand is held above your whip. And he'll say,
From what I understand, you still require an uncharged anima crystal. Is that correct?
Now we can read thoughts. That's fantastic. Yes, we still need an uncharged crystal.
I'm not reading your thoughts.
and you'll see he seems to be thoughtful for a moment before he'll say,
This will hurt a lot.
and
It did the first time, don't worry.
before you have a chance to perhaps draw your hand back or change your mind, Vhaeraun grabs your wrist with his free hand and plunges his dagger in with the other. Not really plunges, but cuts into you with the dagger. And I don't... It's not pleasant. This hurts. This fucking hurts, man. As he will cut into your hand around the large amulet that is in the center of your hand. And
You can't see the face I'm making, but it's icky.
It's icky.
this pain is probably about as bad as when it was first put into you 5 years ago.
He's screaming. Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I believe it. So Narszelas, you scream. Of course, the rest of the party, you have no idea this is going on. Unfortunately. God, love how Vhaeraun works. And eventually, though it feels like an eternity and yet perhaps all at once, Vhaeraun has cut free the amulet that was in the center of your hand.
Ooh.
So there's just a big hole in my hand.
Yeah, there sure is.
God.
Excellent.
Oh god.
Fantastic.
And like
We
once
need to
it's
put a
out,
Band-Aid over it.
once it's out, he will literally collapse, like onto his knees.
And as he had carved this out of you, almost all of your blood now has dripped over the whip held in your other hand. And as you collapse down onto your knees, he takes his dagger, to slice into his own palm and will allow it to spill onto your whip from where it's fallen now into the ground beside you. And though you may not see it now, it begins to give off an almost black aura as his blood mixes with yours, as though it is cloaked in darkness. He kneels down beside you, and you will hear him say, hold on.
My power shall reside within your weapon, and you may call upon me in your dream state when you sleep.
Vhaeraun.
Yeah.
No sleep, besties.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah!
Woo!
That some of the energy drink coffee wasn't such a bad idea anymore.
No, it wasn't.
And he will continue as he says, hold on. As he holds out his now bleeding hand out to you. And will say,
It is odd that someone else in your party seems to have a similar bond with another demiurge, but I don't think they know it yet.
I didn't ask for this.
He'll just
Oh,
look
no.
at the hand offered to him and shakingly, I mean, he's trembling from just the pain and blood loss. Will reach up and you'll hear just this, like, ah, as he, like, closes his hand around Vhaeraun's.
and Vhaeraun will hold on to it rather tightly as he'll say,
Our pact is made. Oh, one last thing, Narszelas.
Yeah.
While you go upon the surface, I will expect you to
God, how do I word this?
I will expect your mind to be one as if a follower, to worship as one of my own.
Okay. Kind of already was.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes.
And I expect that you, as my worshippers, do spread our superiority through the suffering of surface dwellers, though I suppose you can leave your friends out of it.
Alright.
And avoid conflict with other drow. Except for Lolthites, they should be dealt with in any means necessary.
Got it.
And while you and your little friends frolic upon the surface,
Frolic.
And at this point, he will let go of your hand, and
Oh,
he will
thank God.
rise. He will rise back up onto his feet. And he'll say,
do perhaps keep an eye out for my sister. She has been gone for quite some time.
And astray?
Yes.
Okay.
With that, he sort of looks at you for a very long moment, his golden eyes almost kind of gleaming from behind his mask, almost in delight of some sort. And then he will sort of seems as if the darkness swells around him almost like a cloud, and he will vanish away into the darkness, leaving behind what appears to be a shimmering sort of circle that you can't see anything in it other than just the glow of anima. And as for the rest of the party, for you, Narszelas, now at this point, everyone will unfreeze. And for the rest of the party, the last thing you saw was Vhaeraun saying that he had, he wanted to work together with Narszelas on something, and then all of a sudden, from your perspectives, he vanished. And a portal has sprung up now, as Narszelas is now down on his knees.
Taffy's gonna immediately run up and... Well, okay, maybe not run up, because he's still, like, looking around, but, like, now that the spooky god is gone, he's gonna kind of, like, scoot along the wall and, like, go over to check on Narszelas.
Narszelas at this point just gives this, like, fuck! And he's, like, cradling his hand very tightly to his chest.
Are you okay? Oh...
Does it look like I'm okay? And he just holds it out for Taffy to see. And there's a hole going clean from one side to the other.
Ooh. Can somebody heal him, please?
Ari is already at Narszelas' side, and he'll say, What? And he's already, like, shakes his head and decides to instead cast his invocation, quickly whispering under his breath to cast Prayer of Healing.
Would you like a health potion?
No, I'll be okay. Taffy.
Yeah?
By the way, before I talk to Taffy, sorry, do I feel anything? Like, in terms of, like, the pact, or...
So, as Vhaeraun vanishes, you...
I regret asking that, but okay.
You do kind of feel, like, kind of this chill kind of run down your spine, as if everything just seems a lot colder than it was before. And you also realize, though you're not entirely sure if it's from blood loss or the pain, that there's almost a sort of, like, darkness clouding the edges of your vision. And other than the pain that you are in, nothing else seems to really be affecting you at the moment.
Okay. And then he'll blink his eyes a few times to see if that kind of helps, and he'll turn towards Taffy and say, remember that thing that you talked to me about?
Oh.
Thing about you sleeping.
Yeah?
I think you and I are gonna have to talk.
And that's not great. He looks like he's about to fall over. Because this just got connected to another actual, like, it's not just a dream anymore. And he's like, he stumbles back a little bit. Ooh. He almost asks a question and then he thinks better of it for the moment. And he just says, yeah, okay. We should get out of here.
Yeah. Rush.
Resh quickly kneels down next to you, and you can see, if you glance up at his face, that he has a very clear look of concern.
And he'll lean into Resh and kind of just whisper just for him to hear. And I'll send that to you.
Okay. And you'll see his eyebrows kind of furrow a little deeper. And he'll just say, let's just get you and everyone else out of here.
I think he left behind a portal.
And Rush will nod and very carefully help you back up onto your feet. And indeed, there is now a portal that's shimmering before you all where Vhaeraun had been standing prior.
Narszelas will also hold out the Chiroptera cloak to Taffy.
Oh, he'll take it, and he's like, "What did he give you this?"
Yeah, it's the bat leather.
Oh.
Also, he'll lean down, holding onto Resh, and scoop up the discarded anima shard with his skin around it.
Ooh.
And just saying.
And
also the discharged anima crystal.
And sure enough, though most of the crystal is covered in blood and viscera, you do see that rather than the purple color it once held, it is now completely gray and without any light coming out of it.
He just kind of holds it out, seeing if Arca or Taffy or Aoife is gonna take it.
If no one else moves to take it.
Well, Arca will go ahead and take it.
Okay.
And look very apologetic about what Narszelas had to go through to get this shard.
Can you all take a small step back? I have to do something before I scream.
And Taffy he'll fold the cloak away, put it in his inventory.
Narszelas is going to cast Prestidigitation to get all of the nastiness and blood and viscera off of him.
Excellent, you do so.
The real reason Belor
Drow's chest nasty.
Yeah.
No.
We're really going to need to get all of this to Belor.
It's and then I don't know, so Resh has is helping Narszelas, right?
Yeah, Rush kind of has him up and leaning against him at the moment.
He will also assist on the opposite side of Resh to sort of help Narszelas along.
What a good baby.
I can't wait till he breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he'll just be like, "We really should get out of here. I don't want to be here anymore."
Yeah, I think we're supposed to take the portal back and probably either spit us out somewhere in the Nightlands, or maybe he's nice enough to give us a lift back to Vhaeraun.
Oh, please be the latter.
I don't know, his eyes turned gold. I think that's a good thing.
Hey.
I'm really dizzy.
Oh, don't worry, buddy. We'll get you back. We'll just get you back. We'll be, and Taffy's moving towards the portal at this point.
I just want to go back to Resh's Manor and go to bed and not be bothered by anything.
Okay, well, just stay awake for a little bit longer, okay?
Yep, not a problem.
And, excellent. Then, before you all go through the portal, is there, I guess, Aoife, Arcas, or anything either of you would like to say or do, just to touch base with y'all before you leave?
No, Aoife's ready to get the hell out of here.
I don't blame her. Alright, so Eventually, slowly, you all make your way through the portal, stepping into the shimmery anima that has appeared before you. And surely enough, as you step through and the light fades away, rather than finding yourselves back at the vaults of glittering night, you instead find yourselves in the city of Mithranve.
Wow, he wasn't as
Nice.
big of an asshole as he could have been.
Thank you, Lord of Vhaeraun.
And as you step through the portal, you all feel suddenly rejuvenated and suddenly filled with more energy than you had before. And just for the sake of saying this, kind of out of character, you basically gained the benefits of a long rest.
Hell yeah.
This is the you're about to have to go through a gauntlet. Here you go.
And for you in particular, Narszelas, you do feel a lot better. And now, as you appear in Mithranve, it seems that at least the wound on your hand now is closed, though now you're left with fairly nasty scarring. And it still aches, but at least the pain is bearable now.
Mhm.
And the darkness that was at the edge of your vision still persists.
Fantastic.
Oof.
And
Oof.
as you all step through the portal back to Mithranve, thinking, or now only on your minds, to get back to Resh's Manor to get some rest, you notice first that there's no fate going on now. The normally crowded streets that were lined with vendors prior seem to have returned back to their normal state, as Mithranve usually is. There's no sparkling lights in the sky, there's no performers, there's no sense of food and incense and things of that nature. And while there may not be anything sparkling in the sky thanks to dancing lights, there is something flying through the sky.
Oh no!
And can Narszelas
Yeah?
just say something?
Sure.
He's just gonna look at Taffy, and he's just gonna go, "You've got to be fucking kidding me."
Taffy's mouth is just agape as he's staring at this giant flying thing.
And you see, flying over you and landing roughly down upon a rooftop a few streets down to give a loud roar, is a large purple dragon. And you see skittering across rooftops both spiders and driders.
I want to die.
God fucking damn it.
And all you can hear in the background is the sound of screaming, the sound of spells being cast, of battle being waged. And that's where we're going to end our session for tonight.